Yeah, they're all at different sort of stages, but in terms of availability for the squad, the only one who's technically not available is Joe Newell. So that's another. Rudy's had more time on the grass. Jamie McGrath's trained the last 2 days. Who else picked up? Not everybody's came through it. No, it's a big game. Everybody wants to make themselves available, as you'd expect. Bumps and bruises and knocks go away. I know they're all feeling good about themselves as well after a really good result and performance at the weekend. And everything's gearing up now to, there's no distractions, there's no game in between, which is another real positive step that we can really focus on. A brilliant opportunity, a brilliant game to look forward to, but a real tough test at the same time.
In terms of the enormity of these two fixtures here, how important are they? Because from a financial point of view, this is the biggies. These are the two biggies, aren't they?
It is. It's something that, from the first day back in pre-season, well, as soon as you finished third last season, we were a wee bit unsure as to exactly what our European campaign would look like, the path we would take. As a result of obviously what happened with the Cup, we were then going in at round 2, so we knew it was going to be massive efforts to get to this stage. But the challenge to the group of players right on day one was, can we qualify for group stage football, which has never been done before at the club, so can you then recreate history again? And the challenge we've had, the tests we've had, the games we've came through has been fantastic, and this is the last one. It doesn't get any easier. If anything, it gets tougher just because you get a little bit closer and what that means and dealing with that. And the expectation and the noise round about it. But it's certainly a very exciting time to be a Hibs player and fan and everybody connected with the club at the minute, and we need to use that to our advantage.
Forgetting the level of competition, but mentally, is this a bigger test than probably the biggest test you've tasted as a manager in your career?
Yeah, I think so. I think because of, as you said, the magnitude of the game and what's at stake, the other side of it. The opportunity to be playing in Europe right up to Christmas, the opportunity, the potential fixtures we might get. We've already had, 2 sellouts, soon to be 3 sellouts tomorrow, I'm sure, at Easter Road, and how good that is to play in that environment and coaching that environment myself, testing myself against top coaches. I think it's where we want to be competing at this football club. We say it all the time, it's all geared up and ready to go and do that. The bit that's been missing for the last few years, for a variety of reasons, has been performances and consistency. And right now they're delivering a really high performance level and really consistent within the group, which is really pleasing.
It's easy to say it's just another game, but it's not. So how do you deal with that with the players? How do you approach the players, and what is if the messages are different, what are they to the players?
I think the messages are still very similar. It's still 11 very good players against 11 players. I think it's played over 2 legs as well, so it's not as if this is a one-off game. So you are preparing again, like I've already touched on, for a lot of football to be played in the tie, and that's really important how we start the game, especially being at home. We really want to make sure we use that to advantage. It's slightly different for us this time. We've been away and the other legs first, which maybe changes the psychology behind it, but to be honest it didn't really, because my mindset was to try and quieten the crowd and the opposition and start the game well and all these things which we've done in the legs previously, and that'll be exactly the same challenge again tomorrow night. We just want to make sure if the players go out and give the account of themselves that they have been doing, the level of performance we've had, we know we're a really good side, and you can go and look forward to hopefully another special night at Easter Road.
What did you make of Leisure when you've seen them not only in Europe this season but also at the weekend?
Yeah, well, listen, they're a top side. You know that. You don't get to this stage having played the games they've played without being that. I think got to almost quarter-finals of the competition last season. I think they lost out to Chelsea. Very aggressive, pressed really well, and it'll be a real, again, tough test for us. One thing we've demonstrated though is that if we do, as I've just touched on there, play at the level we can, we're a very good side ourselves. And he's rotated his squad quite a bit. They're the same as us in terms of, which is a big step I think this year for Scottish football, which is us postponing the game in between. I think that's a real positive step because they're the same. So they've already done that. It's natural in countries abroad to go and do that. So I think it gives us a real opportunity over the 2 legs. No distractions, nothing in between where you can pick up knocks or injuries. I know you can talk about momentum if you were to go and win the games and keep playing, because players will say that as well, they want to keep playing. But I think it really focuses you on that one fixture over the 2 legs to give yourself the best possible opportunity.
Given the coefficients, because it looks like Scotland might drop a couple of places, the importance of having that free week, it's great to see the authorities, is it not, actually giving the clubs the opportunity to try and be at their very best against this level of...
Definitely. I think especially when you think of the number of clubs we had competing this season, when you look at all of the teams that have done well, done United, really unfortunate to go on penalties, would have been in the same situation had they got through a penalty shootout. So you want to try and, the Scottish clubs to go as far as they possibly can. It's good for the game. It's good for the league, everything that comes with that. So to give you the best possible chance, I think it makes sense right across the board. And that way, we're not looking at us saying, well, why did we not do this? But why are we behind on that one? Or thinking you are, maybe you are, maybe you are. Who knows what the right answer actually is? But I think if you do it this way, it keeps it consistent and the players can really focus their mind into what they're facing over 2 legs.
When you think back to May and finding out you were going to have to do it the hard way and with more ties, it's being in this position, one tie away from doing it. Is that what you kind of pictured in your mind at that point?
I think it was always a challenge. As soon as you see the draw, I think every time you've looked at the draw and went, that's a tough tie, that's a tough tie, that's a tough tie. But that's again massive credit to the group that they've went over tough venues. I really played it down after the game, the Partizan result away from home. How we played at Michelin was obviously fantastic as well. But if that game was just in isolation, on a 90-minute game to go over to Partizan and win 2-0 on one night would have been probably one of the biggest results in the club's history in Europe. So I think from that point of view, it was only half time in the tie, so I was never going to dress it up any more than that. So that was making sure the players are aware of that. Tomorrow night will be no different. Whatever the outcome is at the end of the game, what do we want to do? Would we like to take a lead over there? Of course you would. It's not. There's a lot of football to be played regardless of that. You want to make sure the tie's still alive. You want to be in a position where, in as strong a position as you can be, but there's a lot of football to be played. And that's, the players have addressed that and done that really well up until this point, and I expect to see them again tomorrow night.
What effect has the performances against Michelin and against Partizan had on these guys in terms of confidence generally, but then the level of comfort playing on this stage at this level?
I think you need to take the confidence from it. As I say, especially the biggest thing I took from, especially the Michelin, was how we started the game. Real difficult test against a top team to go over there and start the way we did on the front foot. And I think the coach even said that we probably caught them out a little bit with how we started, how aggressive we were. And that mentality isn't changing for the players. I think they're a really strong group that are in a really good place at the minute. Real competition for places now as well, which is another massive plus for me and a headache for me, which is a good one to have. When you look at even the rotation of the squad on Sunday against Livingston and coming through that with such a positive result and performance means that the group are in a real good place. And players need to be playing at a level to make sure they stay in the team, and I think that healthy competition is always a real positive thing.
You've been away for the first leg, the first couple of times is a slightly different dynamic with being at home first this time. How important is it that they go over there well in the tie with something to really kind of play for over in Warsaw next week?
Yeah, that is the message. It's not a case of shutting up shop and hoping that we're keeping the tie alive. Not at all. You want to. The ideal scenario is to go over there with a lead. That's what you want to do. The flip side to that, we've done it the opposite way last week, where we went over and won in the first leg and then lost the game on the night in the second leg. So as I've said, it's the mentality and the mindset of the players just needs to be ready for a lot of football to be played in this tie. There'll be adversity within it. There'll be periods in the game where we'll have to suffer at times because they're a top side, but they're ready for that. They've been through that already. And I think it's the challenge to the players that just keep trusting in what they're doing, keep believing in what they're doing, and make sure you believe you can get through the tie. It's something I've said every time we've went away. Regardless of your opponent, you need to believe you can go and do it. Everybody's right in the right good place. Everyone, the club, the feel-good factor, the expectation around the football clubs is all geared up, as I've just touched on, for a special night at Easter Road tomorrow, which we'll look forward to. And if we can get through the tie, it'll be, as I've said, the first time the football club's ever done that. So that's what's at stake for the players. They know it, and they're ready for it.
Is this the strongest squad you think you've had available to you, David, in the time that you've been at the club as manager?
I think, listen, we had a really good squad last season as well. I think the challenge is always to evolve as a club and try and improve the group all the time. Sometimes that's by holding on to players that you've had. I think when you look at the work we've done last season, especially retaining some of the players that were out of contract, that was really important for us. And in the additions we've made this season, and whilst the window's still open, you're always looking because you could lose players, or you want to always try and bring players in if you think the squad needs it. And then what also we'll look at that is what happens as a result of this game, what that looks like, having 2 games a week potentially up to Christmas. The schedule required and the squad required to try and compete on every competition we play in. So I think it is in a really good place. It's in a real. I talk a lot about the strength of the group and the type of characters that are in there, and that's the biggest, most pleasing thing for me. That when subs are coming on at the weekend, they're coming on to strengthen the team and make the team better. It's something we benefited from a lot last season, and then I was able to rotate the squad on Sunday. And the players that came in, done really well as well. So I think, all in all, as I've said, momentum's in our favour. We're playing well, good confidence around the group, and I've got a group that wants to improve all the time, and that's certainly my job to try and do that.
Just speaking to
they've got a lot of work to do. Definitely, they're really competitive positions that they both play in. One thing they're definitely doing at the minute is themselves no harm. I think they've both Kieran, we've spoke a lot about Kieran recently. Delighted with Josh and how he's came in. Looks like he's really enjoying his football, which is a big thing. When you join a new club, you want them to settle as quick as they possibly can. That doesn't always happen, but he certainly has settled really quick right into the group as if he's been here for weeks, months. So that's a real positive, and I think there's a lot of improvement to come for Josh as well. I think when you look at how he's done so far, there's a lot more to come, but he's certainly got really good attributes, and as I said, it looks like he's enjoying his football, which is the main thing.